Greetings, everyone. It is February 16th now, and we are in Mark chapter 1 and 2, and a couple of things caught my attention from that. First of all, as I was thinking about it, I'm teaching through Matthew in my small group at this point, and often it's talked about how much similarity there is between Matthew, Mark, and Luke, but I'm just struck by the differences as I read this. Certainly a lot of similarities, and certainly telling the same story, and even at points word for word the same, but it seems there's such a different tone and character to it a bit with Mark's faster paced, kind of exciting, upbeat presentation of Jesus and just jumping right into his ministry here. And um, we're not, again, not told about much about his childhood at all, anything about his childhood here in Mark, and even the temptation and baptism, those things are abbreviated quite a bit compared to what we had in Matthew. And what I think is interesting is his presentation here in verse what is it, verse 35 of chapter 1. It says, Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. Simon and his companions went to look for him, and when they found him, they exclaimed, Everyone is looking for you. And again, this is a little different. Well, I mean, Matthew has some of that too, where there's crowds that are following him because he's healed people, and there's all the miracles that are being done, the feedings of the 5,000 and things that are drawing crowds. But here it just seems that there's an overwhelmingly positive response to Jesus, so much that it's almost crushing to him. And chapter 2 starts with that too. It says, A few days later, when Jesus again entered Capernaum, the people heard that he had come home. They gathered in such large numbers that there was no room left, not even outside the door, and he preached the word to them. And so there's a tremendous, overwhelming, exciting response here in Matthew to what Jesus is teaching and doing in terms of healing. And again, not that that's missing necessarily in Matthew, but I think it's kind of striking here that it's such an overwhelming response. It feels like they're even crushing in on Jesus, and he's looking for ways to get away and to pray and to minister to those who are maybe even more isolated. So he tells the disciples, "Let's go down to some of these other villages and preach, because that's why he came, is to spread the word throughout all of Galilee there." So I don't know. That just struck me today as a little bit more enthusiastic, kind of exciting approach to things, where Jesus' popularity is really being stressed here. And in Matthew, you had a little bit more of the reaction against him early on, at least with with Herod trying to kill him and all those things too that were a negative reaction. Here you have very positive popularity kind of for Jesus presented in Mark. So I think that's interesting, exciting. Think about all the people who were waiting for so long. Even as a contrast today with Psalm 35, you have a psalmist talking about how he longs for being with the Lord and wonders where he is and why is he not as present as he had hoped to be. And then the presence of Jesus in Mark being such a contrast to that, that he is right here. He's touchable. You can talk to him. He's within reach, and people are clamoring for the opportunity to talk with him and be near him, be healed by him. So yeah, again, maybe a little bit of a contrast to the Old Testament too, with the seeming distance of God at times, particularly for the psalmist and David and others crying out and wondering where he is, and now in Mark, he's so close that everybody's desperate to be near him. Interesting. All right, that's it for today.